It has been a typically busy day, and Carl spent the day running from one thing to another. Carl has a few minutes before dinner at home, so he logs into Second Life and drops into his office to see if he can get a jump ahead on some of the work waiting for him tomorrow. When he gets to his office, he finds 3 notes left for him from others, so he opens them, writes a quick response, and returns them, so they're waiting for the folks first thing in the morning. He turns on the video screen on his laptop and looks at the streaming video from the job sites where they set up the cameras. They do that on some of the high-pressure sites just so they can quickly get a visual status on things. Carl steps out of his office and walks through the shop just to make sure that everything is ready for the online safety training course that gets started there in about an hour. He then goes out behind the building to look at the 3D models of those high-pressure sites he looked at the cameras on. He walks around looking at them to see just what was done today and where there might be issues tomorrow. These 3 sites have a 3DT assigned to them. The 3DT is a 3D technician who visits the sites each day and updates the 3D model created to show the work being done on those sites. One 3DT can usually handle several sites, and these are being done by one of the best people available. She has included all of the equipment, so Carl can clearly see where every piece is. And by clicking on that piece, he can get a status report on that piece of equipment's condition. In one of the models, Carl noticed that one of the excavators was showing some issues in the status numbers. That machine is an old one and probably not worth repairing. But for a quick refresher, Carl walks next door to the AEMP University building and runs through one of the short courses on determining residual values. This course shows how to use the raw data forms to estimate current auction values. And by spending 10 minutes on the course, Carl gets an update on the latest ways to use that chart. Carl walks over to the equipment dealership building and looks through the displays for companies they've used before for excavators to see what they have. One of the dealers is in World now too, so he and Carl talk about the problem with the old excavator, and the dealer explains some of the features on the new models. Carl and the dealer step to the showroom where the dealer has a 3D model of the excavator out for display. He points out the specific new features, takes the model apart to show how these new features add the extra strength, and then shows Carl the various options that are available. After talking it over and comparing a few other pieces, Carl walks back to the dealer and places an order for the new machine. As they decide on the specific options, the dealer changes the 3D model in the showroom so Carl sees exactly what he is buying as they talk about it. The dealer sends the information off and the order is in process. With his list finished, Carl walks back to the AEMP University building and goes out back to the coffee shop where 5 other people are logged in, sitting around and talking. Several of the equipment managers meet out here most evenings and talk about the projects they're working on and any problems they might have. Carl mentions the new piece of equipment he just ordered, and Lenny jumps in to say he just bought one of those a month ago for his fleet in Philadelphia and says it was the best decision he's made in years. The guys spend 15 minutes talking about job issues. Stan mentions that he just upgraded all of his equipment to that new Castrol Hyperion oil and is already seeing some impact. Carl makes a note to stop by the Castrol display at the dealer building before logging out tonight. The conversation turns to football, leading to the usual debate between Phil from Chicago and Ron from Dallas, so Carl decides to head over to the Castrol display and then log off and go have dinner. He looks at the display, uses it to open the Castrol website where he reads more information and downloads a description he'll read more closely tomorrow. After checking out the new oil, it's time for dinner. So Carl gets his briefcase and steps outside. He thinks about the good work he was able to accomplish and how much time it will save him tomorrow, and with a smile on his face,